tutorial 10. Alright, so we're now up to tutorial 10. Now tutorial 10 is a bit of a trickier one for a number of reasons, and let's have a look at what we're trying to do first. So tutorial 10, we basically have two images. We have an image of a man and a background, so Foo and background, and then we want to render them together with some transparency. Okay, so this is the complication here is more nim semantics than anything to do with the actual code. And let's just have a look at the source code and then we'll talk through it. Right, so I'm going to just call this name. I'll probably screw up when I'm trying to implement this as well, but we'll see how we go. And then I'll probably have to refer to the completed example. So let's go and have a look at, I'm going to copy rectangle rather than previous one. Okay. So the number one difficulty is that there isn't a direct, well, there is a direct comparison, but it's not a line-by-line comparison with C++ when you create a class. Right, you create a class and the associated methods. We do the same thing in nim as well, except that we need to define the getters and setters in a particular way in order to get it to work. And the syntax, I know what it looks like, but I sort of do have to go and look at the references, and it is a bit tedious. Again, it's mostly because I'm not, I don't use nim every day. I'm just using this as an opportunity to learn more about nim. But anyway, let's get started and see how far we get. To start off with, we have the screen width and screen height, so that's pretty standard. And then to go and define what the class is. So maybe for argument's sake, just for clarity, let's do exactly the same thing. So how do we define a class? So firstly, we start with like a struct object sort of thing, where we have texture and this is an object. And I'm hoping I have the format correct. And within this object, if we look at it, there's three fields that we're interested in, and that would be the M texture, which is a texture pointer. We have M width, which is an int. We have M height, which is an int. I'm going to have a quick check whether I have the format correct. So type object. I think that's correct. I'm not sure why it's complaining. Well, I'm just gonna, this should work as well. I think this bit is extraneous. It's because I put equals instead of, no, I didn't. Anyway, let's continue on and see whether my IDE will catch up with what's going on. But let's implement the stuff that we know first. So the initialization, start with a set hint. Just gonna make this more consistent. So we set hint, create window, renderer, draw color, and then initialize the PNG loading. So that's all the same. Load media. let's go to load media, and we want to do a this.load file. So let's try our best. Oops. So Foo texture, which isn't defined yet, from file. So this would be Foo, and then we want to do a background texture load file, and then see what happens. Right, let's go to close. We destroy renderers, destroy window, and quit. All right, so that bit's the same, and then it jumps straight into main. So the most important thing is the implementation. But before we do that, let's go and have a look at where this is created. So we have where L texture is defined, and then we need to create Foo texture, L texture, G background texture, L texture. Okay. And then we're going to initialize. Okay, so that is equal to, oh no. I don't know if this is the best way, but this is. I'm just going to do it this way. We can work through how it will look like. So texture, load from file. We need to define free, render, and get width and height, or a getter and setter. So I'm just going to copy the thing from the getters and setters because it's this tedious code. This is just all of this bit. Okay. These are all the getters and setters for texture, height, and width. There's not much to really talk about besides that's how it would operate. Then the next thing we need to implement is like the load from file, free, and render. Okay. So we need to make sure that these actually appear before this as well. Okay. Oh, okay, I see what's happened. Is that the correct order? Equals object. Okay, yeah. Okay, so I need to define a couple of things to how to initialize the values. So let's do that as well. So proc init this of L texture M texture inline how do I call this? Right, okay. This will be no inline, not initialize. Equals, and we just want to go this dot m texture equals m texture. I actually don't think this is how I implemented it originally, but we'll just go with the flow. Okay, so that's how we will initialize. We also need a proc for free. This var l texture. What does free do? Goes if not this dot m no is nil, right? This dot m texture, then we will destroy this dot m texture, and then I guess we go. Does that work? I actually don't know if this works. I hope this works. And then now we need to call render, or define render, sorry. Proc render, and we have int y int. Initial values, and maybe you can just call it like this. I'm just trying to figure things out. So this is a void and inline. Okay, so we have a rectangle. It's called render quad. And we copy the G renderer. Oh, okay. This dot m texture nil and the render quad. Equal to the rectangle of this dot x dot c int y dot c int this dot m width dot c int this dot m height dot c int render quad. Okay, so that's what render does, and I think this should be everything, right? Well, we're missing a big one, which is the actual load from file. So let's define load from file now. Proc load from file, this L texture is this far. Don't know. And we have path of a string. They've defined this to be a bool. I think this is also inline. I have a feeling. So the first thing they do is they go this dot free, and then so new texture is the final texture. Hang on. Then why is this bool anyway? Oh, okay, because it's assigned to that. So let's call that okay, and then we have a loaded surface. A surface pointer is equal to stl2 image dot load of path. set color key of the loaded surface. What is STL true? I think it is. I actually have to look it up. Sort of, yeah, this very weird kind of thing that I would never figure out otherwise. And then we want the map RGB. So in case what you're wondering, what this does is it's going to make the color transparent. It becomes clearer when you look at the two images. So what we want to do actually is we want to put this man in this background, but we want the cyan bit to be transparent. So let's do it. Okay, so and then we want to set the colors, right? So this is dot format, and this is uint80, uint8255, uint8255. So that will be the cyan color, which is a color key. And then we want to set the new texture to be equal to create texture from surface of the G renderer loaded surface. Okay, so I mean that's it. What's this error? Okay. Once this is done, texture is equal to no. So this should be a var. Well, not sure what's going on, but we'll need to run it anyway, and then we can try to debug. That's part of the fun. Error, invalid indentation. Well, okay, that's a good start. Missing a colon. It's of type bool and was never used. So line 93. Okay, well. Alright, so that actually loaded, but I hadn't filled this in, so we got this kind of output, which is kind of useless. I mean, it compiled, sorry. So that's a good start. Let's go and update the main function and hopefully nothing broke. So let's start off by, well, clear screen is the same, as we can see from line 279. Go g background texture dot render 0, so we start from the top left hand corner and render blue, and we're going to put g foo texture dot render at this particular location. Okay, so right now we get a blank screen. Blank gray screen. Well, it's gray for a number of reasons. One of them is that this is not correct. And the other one is we probably haven't loaded the media that we actually wanted. So let's have a look at where that's loaded. So load media. I don't think we loaded media, right? Yeah. Let's go. Okay, so now we're one step further. We've loaded 2 men, so we probably need to load the correct kind of image. There we go. We've rendered something in the middle, but this looks a bit off, so let me have another look. So when we called the previous one, this is what we should be seeing, but of course what we got was slightly off. So let's go and have a look at what or maybe speculate why this is wrong. So this looks a bit squished, but I can't really pick out why initially, so I'll probably have to go through everything line by line. Hopefully I'll find it soon, otherwise this video is going to be awfully long. Alright. Here we go. This is why I select it to be a rectangle, a square, sorry. So now if I rerun this, it should work. This is a small careless error, and there we have it. That's the same as the tutorial 10. So this just shows you how we can pull all of these things together. So to recap, to do something object orientated, like in the scheme of nim, you would do, well, you define the struct object if you like, and then you define the various procedures to run over that object. Or you can I think in the original implementation I used, I also played around with methods, but this way would work fine as well. So this is just one way of how we can do something object orientated. Right, so these are all the associated methods, even though I've called them procedures. Nim does have methods, and maybe at a later stage I'll revisit this and rewrite them as methods, rather than what I've done here. Yeah, so this is all there is, and we're now up to number 10, and hopefully soon we'll also look at number 20.